I've got over a dozen virtual students that I see literally every week. And I'm telling you, it takes a long time though, because you give them half an hour to an hour on the, live with them. But if it's an on-court lesson, which I'll show you one I just did this morning, a couple hours ago with these two ladies from Virginia. And so now I'm in post-production, and that's a real pain in the ass. I mean, I was going to show you really quickly, if you don't mind me sharing the screen, what I have to go through. And then maybe you could tell me how your app could help me and everybody else out there. Sure. So this was just from this morning. And so what I did was I worked with these two ladies. And so you see, I'm working with two ladies and their two phones, and they have their ear pods on, which really makes life easier because I can coach them literally. So I've got one lobbing the other. We're working on overheads and lobs. We're working on lobs as well. So these ladies are about 3-0. Hold on. So you hear me. I'm going, hold on, bring it in. Come on over here. And I'm just going to play this briefly. Just see, maybe you can help me out.
Coming over to their phones, which are sitting there. Is that right or not?
That's correct. That's correct. They're coming over to their phones because I saw enough. So now what I had to do here was it was the three of us on the podcast, right? You saw the three different screens, but now I go in close up. I have to split the video. Then I have to crop it. So it's just me because when I give them this video, right, I want them to see something. They don't need to see themselves listening to me. So I want to make it larger. So I go in. So this is a little bit of the lesson part. Yeah. I'm saying this is how she goes into her overhead. No coil.
Right.
I'm facing the net. So what I want you to do is keep your finger on the strings like you would for a forehand. See that? Keep your finger on the strings and line up your triangle. See this triangle I create with my finger and my racket?
Live what you're doing, right? What they need to do.
And then climb up right from here. Climb up the ball. Okay. Because she was facing the net and no coil, none at all. And then we go back to the lesson. See, much better. Anyway, I mean, that's just part of it.
And then what do you? So you're going through this while they're playing, and you're kind of instructing them. And then after you're done with this, then what do? You'll go back and analyze this and give it to them, or what will you do?
Well, no, I've already given them the lesson, but it's great because they have a library of these videos. I see them opening, they're on Vimeo. So I see them opening them all the time and looking at them in between matches and everything else. But I have to go through this whole bloody thing, Brian. And you see now here, I would literally, if I wanted just to get one person, I would have to split the screen right here. And then I'd have to go here and I'd have to go to crop right there. And then if I wanted to just show the woman hitting the overhead, I would go here. So if I have an hour lesson, you can see it's going to take me. So now I just have that. Keep the hands together, line up the 45. Much better. Oh, that's better. Anyway, so you see what I mean? You see how cumbersome it is for me? But it works really well. And like I said, I've got no one's leaving. And I've got great students. And during the winter, when it's snowing outside here in Colorado or raining or whatever, and let's say my lessons are rained out, I still have plenty to do all the time, but a little bit too much. Like this summer was really tough because I was teaching an average about 5 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. Then I'd come home. I'd have virtual lessons at 6 and 7 in the morning because that's like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. And God forbid if it's someone in France, then it's a 7-hour difference. No problem. I'll do it all the time. I love it. But it's the post-production. So I'm really curious about your app and why it's different than just working with Zoom, the ear pods, and having them get a tripod for their phone. How is it? That because I would love it if it could help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so we're a little different. So here's full court tennis, and
very nicely presented. I like that. Very simple.
In the sense, let me. So for instance, I could look up a player here, and I'll just look up. Let's see. So I have Christina Nakashima, who's Brandon and Bryce's mother. So you can see on here, somebody, you can start a stroke analysis or live video lesson. So I have a lesson with him. All you do is touch that and it starts a lesson. So it's like starting a live video like we're doing a Zoom call, and they would get a notification to get on the call. But I'll just show you in general what it looks like, because I'm going to go back to, because I already have a lesson space with them. So I'm going into my players. Those are people I've had lessons with.
Yep.
And so let's look up Christina. And so you can see, so here I've got this is just like a stroke analysis lesson, and we can review any type of video in this thing. And so I've got a stroke analysis lesson, and you can see there that I have multiple people. I had 4 people you can see in the lesson space.
Yep.
And for instance, so if we go down to the bottom, so we can add participants in this if we want. I've got Dominique, who played on, who was top.
Sure. I know her body.
He's got wins over Federer and Nadal. I've got Jaime, who's Brandon's hitting partner, Bryce, the mother. And so this is a lesson space. And basically in here, you could load literally, you can load anything as far as even a match. You could load a match it links up to Dropbox. You could load a full match in here if you wanted to, or just clips from your video, from your library of videos you've taken with the app, or from your camera roll videos you've downloaded. So in any type of a format of a video and length, you can load in here. And then you basically, once it's loaded, everybody has a view, and you can text and write instructions. So you can analyze the video. I'm just going to go back to the top just to show you, and it's got a date and timestamp everywhere. And so you can analyze the video. And here we've got analyzed video of Bryce. And there's no reason to really look at it, but it's just, I can open it up, and I'm just showing, I'm comparing, 2 versions of his backhands. Or I have a pro library like here, and we can compare his backhand to Marcus Giron or something. So,
Okay, Brandon, this is a good one. After Christmas, we're going to look at Marcus Giron. I like this one because you're both hitting with your left foot stretched out, which is a good example to look at. So let's watch here from the ready position right here. And you see, you turn your racket head right there. That's good. I like that. But I would also like if you could just start bending that racket head back a little bit so that see how it's still pointed forward? Get the racket back in a better position. Watch Djokovic when he prepares.
And I can turn it this way too.
And the wrists are in the position in the front of his body. Now watch Giron down here. As he moves, the hands are in front of his body right here. And see how your racket is still not even coming close to being there. Look at Giron's racket face. That's a typical racket face of a top pro or a good pro right there, okay? Right there. And yours is late preparing, okay? And now watch. Now you go back. See, your racket face is still wrong there. Look at where Giron's racket is.
Sorry.
Okay? So, right, okay, you plan on your left foot. Okay, so you see your racket head is still not pointed in a good position. I want to get it up so that it loads up a little bit higher. It doesn't have to load as high as Giron, but it needs to go up a little bit higher and then drop down. Now watch where Giron's is. Look at how far Giron's hands, so your wrist, definitely the racket should already be bent back a little bit right here. See how it's straight? And your hands are a little bit too close to your body. Look where Giron's hands are right here, okay? And the reason I say that, now you push your arms out, it should all be attached to basically your torso, moving around your torso and loading your shoulders back. See the space there between his hands and his shoulders? Yours are a little tight in there. Look at his space in his arms and look at your arms, okay? Your arms do not look comfortable in there. Okay, and then you got to load up a little bit higher with the swing, just a little bit higher angle elevation up, okay, to point it a little bit up more so that when you plant on the racket that you drop it down. Now you are dropping it down there good, and you're both in a similar position, but look at Marcus's racket where his is loaded back there, and yours is too much drop down on your hip, okay? And you see how your hands are touching your hip and Marcus's is away from the hip. Now watch as you stretch from the press from the left foot to the right foot and come around, and watch this right here. Watch Marcus below first. The left hip rotates as you push forward, right? And your shoulders come around, right? And the hands are coming together See where Marcus's hands are away from his body, your hands are tucked in. And when he comes forward, he's making contact squarely in front of the body. Now, look at your left shoulder and look at his left shoulder. Your left shoulder comes to about right there, and then it kind of stops. Watch Marcus's shoulder there. See how his shoulder pushes through the shot. Your arm's coming through, but your shoulder's not really pushing through. You're kind of just, you're already off the ball right here.
So we don't need to finish anymore, but you can kind of see that. So that's one part of the
Not to mention, not to mention, look at Jerome's eyes. He's still locating that. He's still at contact with his eyes, and the other guy, he's already pulled his head into the court, so he's lost his coil compared to the other guy. I mean, but anyway, that's very interesting.
You have the ability to, so we have a pro library for one thing, you know, with these guys. So we've got, you know, a list of players here with the pro library.
Oh, there's Stevie Johnson. Yep. And there's Johan. Okay.
But you know, you can get your own library and do whatever you want. You can get images off of the internet, whatever, and take a video. If you use this to take a video, it pops into this format where, you know, you can, once it's in this format, this is my library. You can pretty much compare it. You know, you can do whatever you want and compare it. This is an older gentleman, and you can compare it to anybody once it's in this format, right? So
I understand.